Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Noel English. I'm a solutions consultant here at Bill. And for acuCONNECT 2025, I'll be presenting our Scale Smarter and how to automate your finance with Bill. Um, and we're going to go a little bit more deep dive around two of our products, which is going to be accounts payable and spend and expense. And if you are interested in Bill through the presentation, feel free to stop by and schedule a deep dive demo or customized demo with someone from our team. So just kind of diving into it, here at Bill, we are a financial operations platform. If you've noticed in the past, known as Bill.com, you're probably really familiar with our accounts payable, accounts receivable solution. But over the years, and I've been here about 10 years at Bill, we've added things like spend and expense with our acquisition with Divvy, our insights and forecasting, and most recently released our new procurement tool. So now we have a full procure to pay solution, spend and expense, and insights and forecasting. So just a little bit about us. We have a little over 500,000 businesses that utilize Bill, over 8 million network members that paid or get paid within our platform, and we process over $300 billion every single year. That's about maybe 1% of the US GDP, maybe a little bit more. Then, of course, 40 million transactions in fiscal year 24. And as you can see at the bottom, we have strong partnerships throughout the ERP and financial community, including Acumatica, of course. So why Bill? So we provide enhanced visibility and security by enforcing separation of duties with role-based access, being able to control who can enter, pay, approve, spend, see all of your payables and spend in one dashboard, flag certain things for you so you're not having to dig through and investigate on certain issues that which will help with mistakes. And then with efficiency, we use a lot of our proprietary AI that inputs data for you and also being able to sync with certain major accounting systems. And then as it pertains to control, then you can fine tune those approvals, policies, and budgets to your business, pay and spend how you want with multiple methods. And of course, customizing user roles to control access to sensitive data and workflows. So what I'm going to cover here today is we're going to go through our accounts payable just at a glance and also jump into our spend and expense, and then we'll dive into a demo. So with accounts payable, we generally find that the process is very inefficient. A lot of manual processes when it pertains to being paper intensive or email has really become the new paper where you're losing bills within that email. So we help centralize that a little bit further. Then those approvals can pretty much go anywhere. Some customers I've run into, they have to print those out, then they have to go run around, get signatures, stamps, or forward it over. Different types of methods of getting that done. Then, of course, the pay side, where you might have vendors that want different payment types, and now you have 4 or 5 different processes for those various payment types. On top of it, all of the additional costs of printing checks, signing, stuffing, sending, and then reconciling all of that into your ERP, which becomes cumbersome because now you're having to do double data entry from all of the previous 3 processes into reconciling into one and causing a lot of headache when it comes to that month end close. So what we do here at Bill is we simplify that. We digitize and automate that by capturing information directly off of documents, having digital approvals, going through various payment types where we do provide ACH, cards, virtual cards, international wires, and checks, all from one centralized area. And then that syncing up or easy to extract that data directly out of Bill and into your ERP. Now, as we kind of flip the page here over to spend and expense or our expense management here within Bill. So this is also part of our platform overall as a financial operations. As it pertains to what we're used to with expense management, it's very much cumbersome for everyone involved. Where there's old expense reports, you have to go hunting for receipts. There's really no controls on how they're spending, and it's kind of a process that really bottles up your month end close. And so the way we do it here at Bill is the access to the business credit with one platform for those spend controls with the accounting integrations and automated expense tracking where we can grab the receipts automatically for you. So why bill spend and expense? We provide control so you can stay within budget, gain real-time visibility, and we help simplify that where we have a mobile application that's on the go that will notify them of the transaction. You can set it up where it's auto coded for them or limit what they're able to code to, what budgets they have access to, maybe even have a pre approval spend if need be. And all of that's going to save you time for your month end close. instant categorization without all the nagging, and of course, collection of those receipts as well. And so just to show a little bit of what we do is we do have cards and budgets, whether they're physical or virtual, and then you can set a budget for those cards and users, where they can spend, who they can spend with, including vendor virtual cards. Then we automate the expense reporting. We'll automatically pull over those details from the transaction where you get real-time insights, and of course, being able to pull that data or sync it over into the ERP. So let me kind of take you through a little bit of a demo here. And we'll start with our AP side of things. So first thing for us is utilizing the inbox. This is where we upload our documents directly here within the platform, either via email, drag and drop, upload. You can also take a picture through the dedicated mobile app. And regardless of how it's brought in, it really takes us about 5 to 10 seconds per page to read the high level information. So we run some AI checks on the back end, such as duplicate detection, where we provide a hyperlink to the original record should you want to investigate, if there's multiple copies of the same PDF that has not yet been processed. We also have the ability to detect new vendors where we can extract the vendor information directly off the document. We can read multiple page invoices, automatically split those for you, as well as our unlimited document storage if you'd like to store things like tax documentation, contracts, agreements, receipts, just by using the different areas here. But as I go into create a bill, we're going to see a lot of pre-populated information where about 80% of the work is pretty much done for you. Now we utilize an AI-powered OCR or optical character recognition. A lot of you might be familiar with that if you have some experience with AP automation. And so we're grabbing things like your vendor, invoice number, invoice date, due date, total amount. Can also read for payment terms or pick up purchase order numbers if you have that kind of workflow where we can do some of the matching here. Then as we get into the rest of the details, such as our line items here. Now these areas come from a different technology, which basically takes the information from the previous invoice for the vendor and applies the coding here. But lastly, we also have the ability to grab pieces of information directly off the document. So if you're worried about typos or it's just a lot of information you have to type out, you can grab information and plug it in directly here. Lastly, here at the bottom, this is where we route for approval. Now, this is something that can be automated or managed manually. With bill approval policies, you can set up various parameters based on how the bill is coded. This can include things like a specific vendor, amount thresholds, line item amount thresholds, any of your GLs, or other segments that you might be utilizing. So as that bill gets coded, sets the approvers for you in real time. So we'll go ahead and create this bill. That'll be sent off to the approver user or whoever might be approving. And then the document leaves the inbox and we're ready to process some more bills. Jumping into the approval side, of course, we do have approver only users, and we've set it up where they can have as much or as little touch into the detail as they prefer. So they can pull up documentation, see the latest notes that have been left behind, can also customize their columns if they'd like a little bit more or less information on this screen. And if this is all they really need to see, they can select several invoices at a time or just click approve here to the right. But we also have approvers that want to get into all the details. So they can dive directly in, move up and down the queue just by clicking next or previous or by taking action, which of course they can certainly approve, but they also have the ability to deny if they see something majorly incorrect, requires them to select a reason, but also put in their own words and context exactly what's incorrect about it. Well, let's go ahead and approve this particular bill, and we'll jump into the payment side of things. And this is where our unpaid bills queue comes into play. This will be everything that's fully approved, that's unpaid or partially paid. Now, one of the areas you'll see here is going to be the payment type. We have all sorts of different payment types here at Bill. This includes checks. Of course, one of the first things that we do here at Bill is we do check to see if we have the vendor in our network of a little over 8 million businesses. And if we locate them, they're likely set up on ACH or they've opted in for a virtual card. We do also support international wires, which we can pay in the local currency at no additional fee, just the exchange rate we provide here at Bill. But generally from here, I'm just selecting a couple of bills to pay. I'm selecting the process date so I can absolutely future date payments. Those funds will not leave your account until that date hits. So I can certainly push these to next week, update the process date as well as the arrival date. I can edit the payment amount. We work with vendor credits where we can apply those vendor credits directly here. And then lastly here, just selecting how it's going to be funded, whether that be directly from your bank account, in which you're bank account agnostic. We also have digital credit cards, or you can use your spend and expense balance, as well as bill balance, or what will soon be bill cash account. Once we have these all configured, we just click review and pay. We review the last minute details, making sure things like mailing addresses are correct, that the email address is correct for the vendor. We'll also include the memo field automatically populated with the account number as well as the invoice number. And we'll send these details to the vendor on that process date. Once those are paid, that officially schedules it, creates the payment records for us, and we also have the ability to manage those payments further. By us facilitating the payment here at Bill, it gives you the opportunity to dive in at any time to get a good understanding of what's happening with the payment. So, when was it scheduled? Who scheduled it? When is it set to process or initiate? When is it expected to arrive? How is it funded? And then ultimately, once it's delivered and cleared, you have all the details of the proof of deposit. This includes the cleared check images, ACH batch and trace ID information, as well as virtual card details and international wire details. So now that we've kind of cleared up AP, I'm going to switch things over to spend and expense and show you a little bit of what that would look like here. So this is your dashboard, of course, showing your line of credit. We have the ability to integrate with your current HR system to bring your users directly in, and you can choose to order physical cards or allow them to order physical cards or even just utilize virtual cards. Once those users have been set up, we have the cards ready to go. We can then add them to particular budgets. And you can have recurring budgets or one-time budgets or maybe just one budget for the entire line of credit. And you have control over who's going to have access to which funds. So I can go in and edit this at any time as I am the budget owner. I can also assign amounts for future months or set an expiration date. Now, this is also something where I could make this a $0 assigned, and they can just request the funds whenever they want to. So, for example, like Lita here has one fund request, I can approve that, and those funds are instantly available to her. You can also set up vendor cards, and you have your controls right here within your budget policy. The budget policy allows for you to restrict certain merchant card categories or allow only certain categories so they're not spending where they don't need to. You can set up a maximum amount for what they should spend on a transaction, if receipts are required, as well as if you're going to have any post-spend approval as well. We can set up various policies. From here, those transactions come over in real time. You're able to review those yourself. We also provide the status for those on top of it. And so let me dive into one of the transactions where we are able to have a quick look here, and we can pull up things like the receipt directly from here. We can review which card was spent, and you also have control over the card. So if they're spending in certain areas they're not supposed to, you can freeze that card at any time. And then, of course, what does it look like for the end user? So the end user has a companion mobile app. They're able to simply dive in, select which budget they'd like to spend, or just utilize the card, and then they'll get an instant notification of the transaction asking them to fill out additional details. This way, they can quickly add the receipt, and we use our AI-powered OCR technology to confirm the merchant, the amounts, and of course, the date. Then from there, you can adjust the budget, change up any categorization on top of it. And then those transactions come back over here in real time. And all while this is happening, you are simply just collecting on the rewards that are available through the platform, just depending on how frequent you're going to be paying the line of credit. And you can also have reward accelerators. You can redeem these credits for things like statement credit, gift card, cashback, and travel reimbursement within our platform. And so that's just a quick overview of the spend and expense and the AP module we have here within Bill. So I will go ahead and open it up to any questions we might have. All right. And then if you are interested in going into any type of deep dive with Bill, feel free to visit us and book a custom demo with us. And just showing a few of the numbers here in terms of what we're finding for return on investment. We're seeing a almost 400% 3-year return on investment here. We're seeing reduced staff time to process those bills. Then, as we go a little bit further, some other key metrics where Bill can really help the organization is getting those bills paid digitally 3 times more than paper checks. And the power of the network of 8 million businesses really help out with that. Of course, with things like the AI powered OCR, and of course, the additional checks that we have on the back end, you're seeing less staff time to respond to inquiries, especially when you need to get things like payment details as well. But I'll go ahead and open up to any questions here, and we can answer any of those.
Hello, everyone. I think we may have lost Noel for a moment, but I do see that there are some questions. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Thought we lost you for a sec.
It's
Tim Rodman and Michael Notley have some questions, as well as Marcia Eckert in the chat.
great. So it looks like, as far as the feature that's being talked about, that's our embed platform. So we should see that probably released a little bit later on this year. And that's basically where you'd be able to execute the payments within Acumatica directly. As far as the integration points with Acumatica, right now it's an import export. We are working on building out a direct integration. That'll probably be announced a little bit later on. As far as what's stored in Acumatica, it likely would be all of the transaction data, vendor data, chart of accounts, your segments. Those can be pushed over into Bill, and you would execute the transactions in our system, and then we'll push them back over to you. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone coming and attending for acuCONNECT 2025, just kind of going over what we offer here at Bill. Again, my name is Noel English. I'm a solutions consultant here. So if you are interested in any kind of demo, feel free to stop by our booth. We are happy to, of course, go through a deeper dive demo, or if you have questions around some of our other offerings that we provide here, such as procurement, which just released a couple weeks ago, we're more than happy to go through that with you. So thank you so much.